Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures Daily Dose of Nature. Today's topic, Europe's Secret Wilds, Natural Wonders of Croatia and Slovenia, presented by NatHab Expedition Leader Branka Dajak. I'm your host, Rob Mess. Thank you all so much for being here today. Take it away, Branka.
Thank you, Rob. I would like to warmly welcome everyone to this webinar, Everything You Need to Know Before Joining the Trip to Croatia and Slovenia, the Natural Discovery. I'm sending greetings from Croatia, and I'm excited to share this opportunity. And I'm actually excited to have this opportunity to share some information about the trip before you actually arrive or before you actually decide to visit this part of the world. But before we start, I would like to shortly introduce myself. Um, my name is Branka Dajak, and I will be the presenter of this webinar for today, as I mentioned. I'm one of the expedition leaders for the NatHab trip in Croatia and Slovenia. Um, well, I was born in Switzerland, but I was raised in Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia. My mom was born and raised in Peru, and my dad is actually from Zagreb, Croatia. So growing up, I was raised speaking both Croatian and Spanish. So as you can imagine, I think that in 98, that was very exotic here in Croatia. But nevertheless, after high school, I attended the University of Zagreb. But, my deep passion for travel actually, however, led me to my first job as an adventure outdoor guide. And I started that back in 2007. And that's how it all started, actually. Of course, immediately I fell in love with the role, and I continued playing it for the next 17 years. But of course, over the years, I polished my guiding skills and my knowledge through different courses. And it actually led me last year to attend the NatHab guide training in Colorado. And that was a wonderful experience, I must say. And I'm also grateful that I had the opportunity to attend. Mm, in my private life, I'm a very passionate skier and snowboarder, of course, during winter, and an avid hiker the rest of the year. So I love spending time in nature and just being on the mountains. Thank you once more for joining this webinar today, and I really hope you will enjoy it and that we will find the information I share very useful to you. So I would like to start with the map. As you can see, both Croatia and Slovenia are countries located in the southern Europe, in the borders between Western and Eastern Europe. Croatia occupies most of the eastern coast of the Adriatic Sea. Both countries have neighboring land neighbors, which are Italy, Austria, Hungary, and additionally for Croatia, as you can see, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and very south, Montenegro. Around 4 million people live in Croatia, and at least 2 million outside the country, which we refer to as diaspora, of course. Slovenia, as you can see, is much smaller. It's half of Croatia, and the population is also half. So they have about 2 million people living in Slovenia. What would be the best way to introduce Croatia and Slovenia as a destination? Um, that would be actually mentioning something that most do not know, and that is that both countries lie in the Mediterranean basin, which is the second largest hotspot in the world. And the region is home to many unique reptile species, and it's considered one of the most important areas on Earth for endemic plants, which is very interesting. And as you know, we are part of EU, the European Union, since 2013. So we are also part of their own ecological network. It's called Natura 2000. Natura 2000 is a network of protected areas within Europe, covering the most valuable and threatened species and habitats. So Croatia and Slovenia include around 40% of the land territory. Due to the specific geographical conditions, Slovenia and Croatia are one of the richest European countries in terms of biodiversity, which is very important to mention. So I how to make the locations special for you? How would I highlight those? It's that Croatia and Slovenia have become a popular European destination for travel. You find perfect harmony of history, culture, and wild nature really in every turn. But my highlights for our trip in Croatia and Slovenia would be exploring the national parks on foot through a limestone landscape, wandering around wildflowers, waterfalls, and alpine lakes. Then also cruising along the Adriatic waters to the island of Cres for the visit of the endangered griffon vultures in their real natural habitat. And my third highlight would be meeting local residents who, grow grapes, raise bees, make great homemade cheese, or press olive oil and similar that we travel and meet them along the way. And the last one would be actually learning about ancient traditions and enduring the rural life that actually still exists in Croatia. But if we are wondering why travel would not have, it's a very simple questions. The ones that have traveled, they know it already. The ones that are still newbies, they will soon figure it out because traveling with natural habitat adventures, it takes you on your experience to the next level. NatHab is actually NatHab's commitment to conservation travel means that once you join the journey, it supports local communities and helps protect the region's stunning ecosystems. Of course, the groups that we have and we host are small in size, which ensures a more intimate, more authentic, and an unforgettable actually experience. I have to mention that some places in Croatia, like for example Dubrovnik, you all heard about the beautiful old town Dubrovnik, have gotten overrun with thousands of daily tourists from large cruise ships. So, in contrast to that, this specific itinerary from NatHab, it takes us to and reveals a more secluded slice of this Balkan region with highlighting gorgeous natural settings and lesser known wild places. And that's why I enjoy working for NatHab and having you on the NatHab itinerary. Um, as for typical weather in Croatia, Croatia features a Mediterranean climate with hot, dry summers and cold, wet winters. The hottest months are July and August. And of course, January is usually referred to as the coldest month of the year. I will here mention some average monthly temperatures. So we have from March to May, for example, we would go from low to high between 55 to like 65 Fahrenheit. June and August, as mentioned, the hottest, June, July, and August, the hottest months. months. So from 72, depending on where you are in Croatia, up to like high 90s. And then again, September and November, a little cooler, 57 to like 68. And then we go into winter, December through February. So as I mentioned, the summer months, weather on the coast of Croatia is generally warm, with temperatures from 65 to high 90s. But the water temperatures from the sea can vary and go from like 72 to 77. And whoa, I know uh, that sounds chilly, but no, it's just we refer it as it's refreshing because outside when it's 90 or higher, then 77 sounds very, very refreshing. Inland, though, around the Dinaric Alps and in the part of Slovenia that we will visit, the climate is more continental with warm days and, of course, occasional afternoon thunderstorms. Evening temperatures may cool throughout our journey, and especially after the sun goes down. There is always a possibility of heavy winds, of course, and rain showers. So we will make sure that you have some warm clothes and a waterproof and windproof jacket for especially when the sun goes down. And mentioning the clothes, that brings us to our next topic, which is clothes and gear. There is a great packing list on the NetHab website, and you have, excuse me, and you have surely received a little booklet with the extensive suggestions list for packing. So I will just go over some key items like the daily stuff that we will bring. So you can see on the picture, everybody is having their hat on, sunglasses, binoculars, reusable water bottle, sweater, fleece, of course, for the evenings, and very personal and very individual shorts or long sleeve shirts, short or long pants, rain jacket, as mentioned, day pack, the one that actually NatHab provides, which is very, very portable and great. And sunscreen you can bring, and or if not, we will provide. In some occasions, we might need some mosquito repellent, which also we will provide. Mm, so what not to bring is actually hiking poles, because we provide them throughout the trip, unless you have accustomed yourselves to your own and they're very light and you have room in your bags. If you don't have room and you are struggling, you really do not need to bring them. Rather, make room for your toiletries, your personal items, and especially your prescription meds or something that it's more important to you than walking poles, because we will have them along with us throughout the trip. About shoes, with for our itinerary, the best, and you can see most of the shoes on this picture are walking shoes, sports shoes, or hiking shoes, and those are all acceptable. Sports shoes, hiking shoes, and walking shoes, and Tivas also are fine, but please have in mind that the ones that have closed toes would be great. On our next slide, you can see on the left-hand side of the picture, even though it's July, we get summer showers. But once the shower for the day is done, we go back to a sunny summer, in Croatia. And on the right-hand side, it's a typical summer sunny day in Croatia. That's actually one of the pictures that we go on the island of Cres. So we take a boat ride for the day, and here you can also see the gear. So the day pack provided by NatHab, a hat, sunglasses, and again, because this is like the 3rd of August, so it's super hot, short pants or shorts, and t-shirt without sleeves. let's go into arrival details for our trip. So you should be arriving to Zadar Airport. So Zadar, Zadar Airport. It's a small but very modern and efficient international airport. It's located about like 5 miles from the city center. So please make sure that you fly into Zadar and not Zagreb Airport. If you already bought your tickets, please make sure it's Zadar, or if it's Zagreb, then please contact the NatHab office and they will arrange the transfer for you to come to Zadar. Um, the ones that come to Zadar, arrival if not otherwise advised. The taxi transfer will take you straight, directly to the hotel Bastion, where you can rest for the evening or the day, depending on your arrival. And we will meet in the lobby of the hotel on the first day of the trip that you have. Entry requirements, which are important to mention. There aren't a lot because there aren't any. Actually, your passport must be valid at least 3 months beyond your planned departure from Croatia. No visa is required for shorter stays than 90 days. And of course, travel insurance. It's recommended. It's not mandatory, but highly recommended to cover any extra medical, expenses during your trip. At this point, it's important to mention the ATMs, of course. Most of us travelers, we usually use the ATM on the airport or the exchange offices. Our currency is euro since 2023. So you can do exchanges in town, you can do ATMs in the city of Zadar. So it's not important that you do it immediately at the airport. And it's a sensitive question how much cash to carry with you. Some guests like to shop a lot, some shop less, of course, but 80% of all of our places that we visit throughout the itinerary will accept credit card payments. Only smaller, very local galleries might not, or fresh fruit markets or fresh fish markets. Or, like, for example, if you wake up early and go to the Zadar fresh market, fresh green market, they will probably not accept credit cards. So for that amount of, going into some smaller places, you might have 100 or 150 euros cash with you in like smaller bills of 10 or 20. And also you can use those for example, if at night during a dinner in the restaurant you have a beer or a glass of wine, you can pay it with credit card. But if you want to leave a tip, you can do it with the cash, the small cash you brought with you. So to make sure, 80% of places will have credit card payments. I will go into the itinerary overview and share a map that follows our itinerary. After landing in Zadar, as I mentioned, and exploring the beautiful Dalmatian town, the next day we will head to Plitvice Lakes, and then we leave Zadar behind and we slowly transition north, stopping along the way in the Pag Island. Then we immerse ourselves in the North Velebit National Park. Then we hop to the island of Tres. We visit inland Istra, where you have the smallest town called Hum. And by the end, we finish in Slovenia, entering town of Bled and Triglav National Park, and the trip then ends in Bled. So I have prepared highlights for each day, so we can go slowly through the itinerary with day by day, I mean, sorry. So this is our first day. We go and visit Zadar, the old town. We have a guided tour, and after our guided tour, we will have our welcome dinner in the hotel Bastion, where you spend the first 2 nights. The day after, we go to Lakes. It's the national park, which has 16 connected lakes. This park is really, really, really unique, and something similar cannot be found in the world. It's the most visited park actually in Croatia. But we go there very early in the morning, so we skip the crowds. Maybe on our going around it and coming back towards our vans, you will experience some crowds coming in. So, but we do it on a different way than everybody else, so we might skip it. Also, we use a less busy trail. So, Plitvice Lakes and the landscape have created a unique environment for a variety of flora and geological formations such as rivers, waterfalls, and underground caves that we will see along the way. The animal world of the Plitvice Lakes is also very rich and diverse, uh, thanks to, of course, the preservation of the habitats. Our next day, in the morning, we leave Zadar and we pack up and drive towards Nin and the saltworks that we visit. After the saltworks and the guided tour there, we will go and drive to National Park Paklenica. As you know, Croatia is famous worldwide for its geography. In a way, a specific part of Croatia's landscape. I mean, a significant, huge part, as you can see on the picture, it's composed of limestone. So it's a sedimentary rock that it's largely comprised of calcium carbonate. So Croatia limestone is also referred to as karst, and the most famous karst landscape is are actually the Dinaric Alps. And when I say the Dinaric Alps, I refer to a mountain chain that's long about 450 miles, and it consists of a lot of mountains that go through and share from 8 states. So from Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, all the way down to Kosovo and Albania. So that's a mountain chain called Dinaric Alps. Um, After Paklenica, after a great night on the island, of course, that we spend our night, we hit the road and we take the ferry back to the mainland to go and visit Velebit National Park. And that's our third national park that we visit on this beautiful itinerary. And in total, Croatia has 8. So that's almost half of the national parks that you will explore. The North Velebit National Park is actually located on the mountain range called Velebit, and that's the largest and most complex protected area in Croatia. It's extraordinary natural values and importance for the preservation of biodiversity were actually included in UNESCO World Network of Biosphere Reserves. So that's very important to mention. In the area of Velebit, there are about 2,000 plant species and subspecies. Many are rare, and some are endangered and endemic and protected plants. Some can be only found on Velebit, like, for example, Velebitska degenia, that's actually a state also plant. Window bellflower and Croatian grassy bell. The flora of Velebit is a result of the interaction of two vegetation zones. the Middle European one, and the Mediterranean. In regards to the flora, I mean the fauna, sorry, so the animal world of Velebit, it's also very diverse and very valuable. You can find we can find very large carnivores. We have the brown bear, wolf, lynx, wildcat, and from other mammals, you can spot deer, chamois, boars, and roe. Also, birds are very eager to live in Velebit. So, from golden eagle, different owls, what else? Woodpecker species, and of course there is a numerous species of butterflies, and since many of them are endangered, they are also included in the Croatian and European list of red list of butterflies. Our day 5 is all about the Adriatic. We will take a boat ride to Cres Island, and we will visit the Griffon Vulture Rescue Center and search for the griffon vultures in the wild. And this picture just emphasized how we actually do it. So these are the cliffs of the island of Tres, and the griffon vultures nest just above the sea level, and this is their habitat here. Even though griffon vultures live in other parts of the world, of course, and you can spot them in Europe, in Spain, in France, in Serbia, and Greece. The Croatian population is unique in the world just because of where they nest, and they nest right above the sea level. And seeing them on the cliffs and spotting them, it can be a truly breathtaking experience. Our day 6 actually takes us to the smallest town in the world, the town of Hum, where they have about 30 inhabitants, and it's referred to as the smallest town in the world. And it's in middle in the center of Istra region. The city is only, as you can see on the picture, 300 feet long and 330 feet wide. After we do a tour of Hum, we will go and experience truffle hunting in the magical forest of Motovun. Motovun Forest is actually among uh, the best and renewed truffle regions in the world. And we will be helped by a guide and his two very beautiful trained dogs. This is our last day in Croatia, so the next morning we will actually head towards Slovenia. So the first day we spend in Slovenia, we will actually start early in the morning, and we will drive to the Pokljuka Plateau, which is the center of National Park Triglav, and we will hike up to a mountain hut and experience the beauty and the flowers. And I refer to this day as the Sound of Music Day. Hopefully, I don't start singing while I'm there, but I'm not saying no to singing the song from the movie. In the afternoon, we will visit a small family-owned bee farm, and we will round up our day in the Lake Bled. Our last day, our last active day, is that we drive to the Lake Bohin, I'm sorry, and it's about 35 minutes from the Lake Bled. And in the morning, we go to the Mosnica Gorge where we explore the beauty while hiking. Then we go and have lunch in a family run dairy farm, and we say hi to our beautiful host, Simona. She will prepare lunch and some cheese tasting. An afternoon excursion is actually planned for the Vogel Mountain, which this picture represents. Sorry for that. The Vogel Mountain, we take a gondola, actually a cable car, right up to the first 4,500 feet top, where from we actually can either hike or take a ski, actually chair lift to this beautiful viewing point. The entire area, so the view is the National Park Triglav, and the whole area is actually included in the same Natura 2000 network that I mentioned earlier, as an important habitat for bird species, and it's listed in the Birds Directive. After our great day up in the mountain, we go back to Bled and we prepare for our farewell dinner. So our last day, ninth day, is actually transfer days. So it's either to Ljubljana, to the airport, or any other scheduled departures you might have. And that brings us to our next very technical topic, which is transportation. So, as I mentioned earlier, NatHab has small groups, which makes it very intimate and great experience. So, we have two vans that fit 5 guests in each. So, each person has a window seat. If and sometimes we do have a bigger group than 10, so we use a minibus which fits 17 guests. Again, everybody has their window seat. It's important here to mention the driving destinations. So the travel distances are usually between 1 hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours. How we usually plan the day is that we do in the morning, and then in the afternoon, after we do our hike and the activity plan of the day, then we usually drive the longer route to the next destination, being that Pag Island, Opatia, or even Slovenia. Um, Also, as you can see, we have the two vans, sometimes the minibus, and then also the boat that I mentioned earlier. When we go to the island of Stres, we have a small private boat included, and generally, if the waters are calm, but if people have some sickness, please have in mind to prepare for that and bring any necessary items like the bracelet or any medicament medicine. I'm sorry. We can go slowly transition to the accommodation part. Um, as you know, I know, like all of the countries, Croatia and Slovenia offer a great range of options to suit every type of traveler. And some hotels on this itinerary may vary in size and design, but they are all up to the standard of NatHab. So, our first hotel for the first 2 nights is the Hotel Bastion in Zadar. This is it represents the lobby where we will meet and have our presentation for the welcome dinner. And this is the terrace overlooking the old town. So we will enjoy the welcome dinner here. So we spent 2 nights in the Hotel Bastion in Zadar. Our next destination is the Hotel Boškinac on the island of Pag. We will spend here 1 night and we will indulge in the beautiful scenery of the hotel and the pool. It is located in a very secluded area on the little hill surrounded with wine grow and olive trees. So it's only 11 bedrooms, and we will enjoy dinner in the premises of the hotel. This is an example of the room of the Hotel Boškinac, a privately family owned little boutique hotel. After 1 night here, we transition to the Hotel Royal in Opatia. Hotel Royal is a newly refurbished hotel, but within an old, let's say, Opatia style building, and it's on the seafront. This is their terrace for enjoying the coffee in the morning, if you prefer. And this is an example of one of their beautiful rooms overlooking the Adriatic Sea. In Opatia, again, we spent 2 nights, and then we transitioned to the Hotel Vela Brata, and this is our last hotel in Croatia. We spent here 1 night. Hotel Vela Brata is located in the old hilltop, beautiful town of Buzet. So this hotel is very narrow because it was built from the old buildings in the town. This is an example of their room. They may be narrow, but still beautiful and overlooking the old town. They also have a spa area, so you might have the chance to indulge a little jacuzzi or a massage. This is where we will have dinner and enjoy the beautiful view of the valley and our last night in Croatia. In the morning, we actually drive to Slovenia. I have to mention that the last two hotels do not have elevators, but nevertheless, we will have help from, of course, the locals in the hotel, and you have us, your fear leaders, to bring your bags up to your room. Both hotels were built in an older traditional buildings, so they don't have elevators. Referring to it to the hotel in Vela Brata in Buzet, and this one is our last hotel, the Hotel Starkle in Bled, Slovenia. Also doesn't have an elevator, but nevertheless, it's a small two-storage house on the lake, the shore lakes of Bled, and this is an example of the room overlooking the beautiful, beautiful lake Bled. I will go and say something about food in Croatia and all the dietary needs we might accommodate. But firstly, Croatian traditional cuisine, of course, varies from one region to another, like in most countries. But in general, it really is, we are a meaty country. But we incorporate, like a lot of homegrown vegetables, fresh homemade bread, wine, pasta, olive oil, and fresh seafood and fish. Um, Coastal areas are drawn upon culinary influence by the Mediterranean cuisines, Italy. So we feature more seafood, cooked vegetables, condiments like olive oil and garlic. And the continental cuisine is heavily influenced by Hungary, Austria, and Turks, and their styles in culinary art. In that area, again, meats are favored, fresh fish, and vegetable stews and vegetable dishes are predominant. In Slovenian cuisine, it is noteworthy that it's also very diverse. There is a quite a bit variation also among regions and local specialties. This is, for example, one of the plates we go and enjoy at Simona's. That's the dairy farm we will visit. And Slovenian cuisine is also influenced by neighboring countries, which is Italian pasta, also European style meat stews, and Austrian pastries. If you are wondering if we can accommodate different dietary restrictions and needs you might have, of course, yes, absolutely. Even though Croatia is a meat country, as I already said, but we will spend most of our time in the coastal side, so fish is always an option, fresh veggies daily, and if you are concerned with gluten-free diet, don't worry, my colleague is a gluten-free, so she will really, we're both, but she especially for herself and then for you as well, will take good care of you if you're gluten-free. Talking about food, we have to mention wine. There are three main regions wine production in Croatia: the continental region, which is referred to Slavonia, and they are producing premium wines, white wines. Along the north coast, Istra and Kirk, uh, their wines are more similar to those produced in the neighboring Italy, so very refreshing wines. And then in the further south, in Dalmatia, Mediterranean style red wines are a norm. On the other hand, Slovenia is located in the middle of Europe's wine growing region, and they have been recognized as one of the world's top producers of quality wine. Imagine. They also have three wine regions, and each with its own diverse selections and variations. Um, it brings us to activities and hikes that we actually are doing throughout our itinerary. The left picture is example of Plitvice National Park. And if you check out the left corner, down corner of the picture, you will see the boardwalks that I was referring. So most of our hikes, sorry, so that would be the boardwalks of the day, and on the right hand side is Paklenica National Park. We will visit Plitvice Lakes, Paklenica, North Velebit, Cres Island, Triglav National Park, Mosnica Gorge, Blake Bled, and Vogel. So our hikes, our typical hikes, most of our hikes are on uneven terrain. Some are very narrow, some are wider. Most are uphill, even though it's a gradual uphill. So, but we still need to reach the top, so it's an uphill. Except Plitvice Lakes hike. And I must emphasize that sometimes we refer to it as a walk of the day because Plitvice Lakes, as you saw on the previous slide, it's a boardwalk actually. So it might be slippery because of water. Sometimes the waterfalls go over the boardwalk, but that's a walk, a boardwalk. And we do make a difference on our daily briefings, whether it's a walk of the day or the hike, due to descriptions. So, what would be a walk? A typical walk would be flat, maybe smooth paths, sidewalk promenades. So, walking around downtown or walking in Plitvice Lakes. It's usually a shorter, low physical exertion, right? And it's okay with some comfortable shoes or sneakers versus a hike. It's usually an uneven ground, like these pictures actually represent. Those are hikes. These are within the National Park of North Velebit. It's usually a longer trip and on a rougher path. So this would be a good example of our um, typical paths for a hiking day. Um, how would we grade our hikes? Well, they're all graded moderate. Some days they might be tougher, let's say, or more physically how do you say it? Sorry, more physical exertion, or less, of course. This is an example of the first hike in Slovenia to the Pokljuka to the mountain hut where we have lunch. So moderate would be guests must be able to hike at least 2 miles, right? At a time over a terrain that it's uneven or rocky. Some trails we go through have roots across the path, and that might require careful footing. Average elevation that we gain actually on our hikes it varies between 100 or 600 feet over a couple of miles. The maximum elevation it's that we reach is 5,400 actually, but as if you were listening, we do it with the cable car and the chairlift as an option. Um, so most of the excursions that are included in our activities, they are optional. You can always opt out and say, okay, this I had enough. I want to go to the hotel. I want to go to Bled and just sit around the lake. But have in mind that we always have two leaders that which allow us to break the group into two dynamics if needed, so we can all enjoy in the variety of physical ability and levels. This is a great example of the truffle hunting with Nicola, our guide, and his two dogs. Um, while on the truffle hunt, we will be in a very thick forest, so this is the time where we will have and prepare the mosquito repellent. And here it's important to mention that we will be on our itinerary visiting a bee farm, and so and to learn about the honey production, of course. And while we are not expected to be stung by any bees, because Daniela's bees are very, very polite, but the ones with bee allergies should be aware of that. Um, this brings us to nature and wildlife of Croatia and Slovenia. And as you can see on these pictures, hopefully we will, what can we expect to see? That's a huge question. Well, we are expected to see, hopefully, the griffon vultures, especially in the wild and on the cliffs. If not, we will be seeing them in the rescue center. We will be seeing a lot of butterflies and wild, beautiful, hopefully beautiful flowers around North Velebit, Plitvice, and Triglav National Park. We will also be hopefully hearing some woodpeckers, I think, and let's cross our fingers for some birds and eagles. Hopefully on our hikes. But for sure, we will be seeing some cheese and honey production, bee farm, salt works, which is impressive, and we will have and enjoy some organic tastings. Um, Here, I would like slowly to turn to what is the ethic for watching the wildlife. So we keep your distance, of course. We observe the animals from afar with our binoculars that we brought, of course, or zoom lenses. Um, we stay quiet and calm before we find our animals. We move slowly, speak softly, no sudden movements, no flash photography, of course. We use natural lighting, and we stick to the trails and the paths for reason, of course. Respect the signage. We do not feed the animals because human food is not healthy for wildlife, right? And we leave no trace. Whatever we bring to the mountain or wherever we travel, we will bring trash with us back down. And we respect protected areas such as national parks and all other areas where nesting season or breeding season is. And this is a reminder to be patient and grateful. Wildlife is unexpected, and you may not always see what you're hoping for, and that's okay. Like, for example, last year, one of our groups and I was in the van where they were in the minibus, and going down from the Velebit mountain, they experienced actually a lynx during the day, which is very not expectable. You would never ever usually see that. So, thank you for your attention. We can head to questions. I give the microphone to Rob.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so before we dive into the question and answer session, I would like to remind everyone that if you do have questions, you can submit them via the question field in your control panel. Just head to the upper right-hand corner, click on those three lines called the hamburger, and you'll see a menu drop down. Go ahead down to questions and put your questions in there. So let's get to these questions, shall we? So how common would you say it is to see all these mammals in Velebit and on the trip in general?
Well, like I love to make jokes, especially when we have the intro presentation when everybody comes. That the wildest of the wildest animals that you will see in Croatia are the people working in hospitality. But being serious, we might see some deer, yes. They actually like to cross the road where we hike. We encounter flying birds, yes, we do. Different kind of what's the name of oh my God, uh oh, I lost it right now, but gushter is like lizard, sorry, yes. And but this was a once in a lifetime opportunity when they saw the lynx. That's probably not happening, even though there's a huge, beautiful story about the lynx, reintroducing them into Velebit, and our guests will hear it when we get there. There is a whole project from 7 years. They have brought them from the Carpathians and reintroduced them to Velebit because they were very endangered. And now they are following them with GPS. So it's very interesting to actually see where they go. And they move from, Velebit in Croatia all the way to Slovenia, and then they come back to their habitat. And some have actually mated and have a family. But yeah, we will be concentrated in flowers, butterflies, and the griffon vultures.
Great, thank you. So when is the best time to come out there to see wildflowers?
Oh, that's so beginning of June. I mean, NatHab is very good at putting dates out there because they actually take the whole portion. So wildflowers is June, mid-July, lesser in August. But I mean, when I say lesser in August, then I mean on the lower elevations. But then they come when we come to Slovenia to the higher elevation. Then in August you might see the flora, the same flora we saw in, like, for example, Paklenica or Plitvice, which is a lower elevation. We will get to see them in August in Slovenia. It's spectacular. And then, like in September, the dates in September are all about the colors, the fall colors of the leaves in, for example, all of the national parks. So I think NatHab is very good in putting the dates for the wildflowers and the wild nature to enjoy.
Great, good to know. Thank you. So you mentioned elevation. So let's talk about that for a second. How much elevation are we talking about, and is there something I need to worry about or prepare for?
Well, we will be doing elevation from daily between 160 gaining in elevation. But for example, Plitvice is, so help me here, so 500 feet, 500 meters, so it's 1,500 feet in the inland of Croatia. So Velebit is something much higher. So it's 3,000. We go, for example, from 3,400 to 3,000, what, 750, and then we come back to lunch. And then the highest we will be in Slovenia, which is the national park Triglav, the mountain Vogel, which is actually a ski resort. So their elevation, as I mentioned, the highest we will reach is 5,400, but we will not walk unless the guests from the group want to. It will be a chairlift. Um, if you're referring to breathing abilities, we have had few guests in my couple of years, 4 to 5 of my guiding for NatHab, that would say, "Oh, I can feel, the air is thinner, but not much." I don't think that's an elevation that people should be worried about.
Great. Thank you. We appreciate that. Um, is there a rainy time out there? Should I be worrying about rain pants and rain jackets?
Yes, there is always a possibility of rain, and especially the day we go to Plitvice Lakes. That's a very inland mountain region of Croatia. And if we wake up in Zadar and have a sunny, beautiful, 75, 77 temperature, we might. It really depends on the day, but we might get to a 65 temperature in the morning to Plitvice with clouds and showers. So yes, please do bring rain jacket and rain pants for just in case. I always have them in my backpack, and if you travel with me, I will always tell you, please bring them in your daily pack, but we can also leave them in the van once we get there and we see, that it's actually a sunny day with no clouds ahead.
Great. Taking notes. Good to know. Um, so if I'm a birder and I'm coming out there to see birds, is there a guide that I should be looking at to the types of birds I'm going to be seeing? Any recommendations on how to find out about the birds of Croatia?
Oh, I must say I don't have a specific book or a guide, but the NatHab website has a section about wildlife and birds in Europe. So I would refer, I honestly, I would Google Slovenia and Croatia birds, and they are pretty much the same, Eastern European. How do you say that, bird varieties. So
Great. Thank you. So, eh, are we going to be on the water a lot? And if so, is there going to be opportunities to do any kayaking or canoeing?
oh, on the water, kayaking or canoeing? Unfortunately, not. The itinerary from several years actually changed. It was some parts of the old itinerary that we used to kayak, but we will spend one entire day on the water, but we will be on a private small boat for the whole day. I mean, we will exit the boat to go and visit the town of Bali on the island, and then we will return to the boat and have the opportunity to swim. But for kayaking, no, no, not on this itinerary.
Okay, thank you. So, do you have a favorite spot or a place that you really want to share to our guests on this trip?
My favorite spot. Can I
Yes,
go back in my presentation?
please do.
Yeah, this is it. If you remember in the beginning, I said I'm a passionate skier and snowboarder. Well, this is my favorite ski resort in Slovenia. And imagine skiing. This is all white, and you have this view on skiing all day. So this is my favorite place to be. And this is the view in the summer. So we're on top of this, viewing the Lake Bohinj.
Well, that
This
looks
is my favorite part
amazing.
of yeah, the trip.
Well, we look forward to coming out there and visiting you and seeing that place. Unfortunately, that's going to be the last question that we do have time for today. So I'd like to throw it back to you for any closing comments you may have for us today.
Yeah, of course. I would like to say thank you for your attention, and I'm extremely grateful that you decided to invest your time in into this webinar. And I hope you enjoyed it, of course, or you found out more that you wanted to know. And if you ever decide to come here to Croatia, me and my colleagues will be happy to host you, and I really hope to see you at least, if not this summer, then next summer in Croatia and Slovenia. Thank you.
Branka, thank you so much for taking the time to present for us today. And I'd also like to thank everyone who joined us today. So, if you are interested in information on how you can travel to Croatia and Slovenia with NatHab, please give us a call at the number on your screen, or you can send us an email at info@nathab.com. Our adventure specialists are happy to help you out. Join us tomorrow for our next daily dose of nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathap.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, I will conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time.